welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, Tottenham preview show and general news update show, because we will talk about Manchester United's big win in the FA Youth Cup. But one star from the MLS, one youngster was also at Manchester United's FA Youth Cup game that is on trial at United that could be getting signed for the academy on top of Diego Leon, on top of Sekou Kone. There's more academy stars that have been impressing. Ruben Amorim that could be getting a chance of 30 minutes. There's news and updates on the leaks inside Manchester United. Manchester United know who the leaks are, and they are saying it is not Garnacho, and it is not Garnacho's brother, and it is not Amad Diallo. Everyone keeps saying the leaks are Garnacho and his brother. Some people saying it's Amad. That's what everybody's saying. Manchester United is saying it's not who you think it is not these people. After Manchester United conduct investigation on the leaks, Amorim speaks on Garnacho and how Garnacho was upset about being dropped ahead of the Manchester derby and where Garnacho's at and his future. Amorim speaks on Marcus Rashford. Why is he dropped again? What's gone down with Marcus Rashford being dropped? Amorim gives more feelings on the interview and Marcus Rashford's future. There is talk of a De Jong-Rashford swap deal with Barcelona wanting Marcus Rashford. There is Amorim speaking on Agate and other United players and standards and what he expects. And then we will dive into Manchester United versus Tottenham. We're going to do a preview to that. We'll talk about the starting 11. More. Apparently, Yoro is set to start. Antony is set to start. So yeah, we'll dive into that. People said any watch along tonight. There might be. It depends how I feel, because obviously if I'm working all day, then it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. If I'm fatigued, I won't do it. If I'm not fatigued, I will do a watch along. So make sure you've got the notification bell on, because I might do a watch along for United Spurs tonight. If not, there will definitely be a match reaction. And yeah, just big up to everybody. We're going to start by just talking about a little bit of the academy news, get that out of the way. We'll only talk about that for 2-3 minutes, and then I want to get into the leaks, I want to get into the Tottenham preview, I want to get into things that Ruben Amorim has said and more. But big love to everybody, by the way, because we're on 99,794 subscribers, 206 away from the big 100k. But let's dive into the story, and I do apologise that I was speaking absolutely rapidly, but I wanted to get through that intro as well. As Amorim said, it's good for Garner to be upset. He's trying to get a reaction out of that. Exactly. Garnacho was upset about being dropped, but that's what Amorim wanted. And I feel like this with Ruben Amorim. We're going to talk about this later, but he handles every single interview so well. I feel like whenever Ruben Amorim is speaking, he answers every question so well, every interview so well. His communication, his way of handling the English media, because if you're a foreign Manchester United manager, the English media is going to be on you. If you're a foreign Manchester United manager, it's going to be on you. And I think the way he handles that, he's so intelligent, he can play them down, and I think he's really good at handling the media. Now, if you weren't aware, the FA Youth Cup kicked off yesterday. Manchester United had their first game in the FA Youth Cup last night against Coventry City. Harry Amas was among people playing, Armour, Monroe, Ian Sheary, Obi Martin, obviously under-18s Youth Cups. It was said that Fletcher as well, the Reds ease through the next round of the FA Youth Cup, where they'll face Preston at home. A Ian Sheary hat-trick and an Obi Martin brace secure the victory for United. Both were impressive up front, alongside brilliant performances from Tyler Fletcher, Armour, Fitzgerald and Amas. So Obi Martin scores 2, Ian Sheary scores 3. Let me tell you about these two ballers in the academy. Obi Martin in 6 games has got 7 goals and 2 assists, which is 9 goal contributions. Gabriel Ian Sheary this season in the United Academy in 17 games has 16 goals. They've also been doing very well at international duty. We've also got Wheatley in the under-21s. I think in terms of what we've got in the academy, in terms of goal scorers, it's ridiculously strong right now. And you never know. You never know. You could see maybe a Ian Sheary and Obi Martin or a Wheatley feature on the bench under Ruben Amorim, with the squad being quite thin when it comes to strikers. Xerxes the only backup to Højlund. Apparently, Obi Martin, when he signed for United, was told he was going to be the 3rd choice striker behind Højlund and Xerxes. So you never know. Amorim is great at not taking the bait with journalists so far, which is what I absolutely love about Ruben Amorim as well. Someone said, I think Ruben Amorim's handling every situation impeccably. Ian Sheary missed a pen as well. We were all over them, and I have to say the level of talent we've got the level of talent we've got in the academy is absolutely crazy. Big youth cup win yesterday. Amad, I'm sure, will be watching. I think these are two players that, in 3-4 years' time, we could see them be playing under Ruben Amorim at United. Even a year or two, you could see them breaking through. But I want to talk about somebody, actually, that Man United could be signing. This is a player that has been in Manchester the last week, sort of doing a trial with United, and Manchester United might be signing this kid. It was said that the 16-year-old US youth national men's team player and Charlotte FC forward Nimfasa Berchimas, one of the brightest young US talents, will visit Manchester United for a training stint. He's already trained with Bayern Munich in the past. In November 2023, the 15-year-old became the youngest US player at the Under-17s World Cup in 20 years and scored a brace and was named man of the match in his very first match at the tournament at just age 15. We know that he was obviously been training at Manchester United all week and was actually pictured with Obi Martin after Manchester United's 5-0 win in the Youth Cup, and he's been on trial in Manchester for the last week. Now, again, I'm not going to act like I know loads about this player and I've watched him play loads or anything like that, but there's a top youth player on trial at Manchester United that we could be signing, that, one of the youngest ever players to play minutes, and get some first team minutes and stuff. So, very, very exciting young player coming through as well. Has the team been leaked? Okay, so obviously we're ahead of the Manchester derby. The team was leaked the night before the Manchester derby, and it was disgraceful. There's not a team leak, but there's already information coming out about 2 or 3 players that might be starting. But there's not an actual team leak. And I'm not going to... If I did get the team leak, obviously I wouldn't put it out there. I'm not Samuel Luckhurst because it's not going to benefit United. But there is no leak yet for the team, which is good. Because the fact that the Man United team was leaked the night before the Manchester derby was a joke. There's people saying that Yoro is going to start, and there's people saying that Antony is going to start. But nobody's gone out there and leaked the whole starting 11. So no official leaks. But I will tell you who I think the lineup is going to be based off information as well. Rashford is not in the team. Garnacho back in the squad. Yes, so Rashford is not even in the squad. He won't be on the bench. People don't know why. It could be because he's ill, although there is a speculation around that. With some of our attackers out of form and favour, might be a chance for the youth lads. You never know. You've also got Amit Ibrahimov, Shea Lacey, so many talents as well, Scanlon. But we've got this young kid, Berchimas, obviously could be the next person to join the academy on trial at the moment. He's obviously a 16-year-old winger, one of the MLS's brightest talents, and he's attracting a lot of interest, and he's just on his trial period at Manchester United. So that was a little bit of an update on just the young kid who's having his trial period at United. But I want to dive into the leaks. I want to dive into information. I want to dive into stories. I want to talk about the Tottenham preview and a few other bits and bobs going about. But it was said here by Samuel Luckhurst. Now, I'm going to say this now. Samuel Luckhurst loves to stir the pot. And if Samuel Luckhurst knew that Garnacho or Rashford or Amad was the leaker, he'd be putting that out there. He'd be stirring the pot. That's exactly why he leaked the lineup the night before the Manchester City game. He didn't have to leak that, but he did. It was said that United are convinced a network of people are behind the team news links. Speculation that Garnacho and his brother were behind the links have been branded as rubbish, and the club believe the leaks are not down to 1 or 2 players, but a network of people. Now, Samuel Luckhurst got information on the leaks. He was the one that put out the team leak the night before the Manchester City game on Saturday. He, again, is saying it is not Garnacho and it's not Garnacho's brother. Everybody under the sun has accused Garnacho and his brother of the leaks. Some people have also included Amad Diallo. The reason those 3 people keep being accused of the Man United leaks is because faceless Twitter accounts with no credibility behind them have just said they are the leaks because they want a bit of attention, they want a bit of views, they want to pretend they know stuff. There's no credible information to suggest that Amad is the leak, to suggest that Garnacho is the leak. Yes, Garnacho and his brother are quite active on Twitter. You see Garnacho liking this and that. But again, everybody thinks the leak's Garnacho or Amad. They're not Garnacho and Amad. It was said that sources within Manchester United acknowledged the presence of leaks from within the club, and there's speculation that the culprits have been identified. However, insiders insist the individuals responsible are not among those being publicly speculated about. So United are aware of the leaks. United think they know who the leakers are, and it's not the people that we're speculating about. They believe that it's not come down to 1 or 2 players. There's a network of people, And when there's a network of people involved in the leaks, it doesn't just mean players, it means coaches, it means cleaners, it means people in and around the club that can access that information. And I feel like everyone's desperate to blame the leaks on one or two players, but there's a network of people in and around the club that we won't even know their names because they're not players, they won't be top coaches that will put that information out there. And the club are aware of that, and they're clearing up that, the leakers aren't who you think. The leakers aren't Amad, the leakers aren't Garnacho. And I feel bad for Garnacho and Amad because all week people have been blaming them of leaking information. And I get that Garnacho and his brother are quite active on Twitter, so it's quite believable. But it came from faceless Twitter accounts that do stuff to bait interaction. That is how the Garnacho being the leaker started. It's not like David Ornstein's come out and said, Alejandro Garnacho leaked the team to me. Then you'd be having words of Alejandro Garnacho and you'd be saying, what are you doing? Faceless Twitter accounts made it up. So we were talking about leaks for a while because they have been atrocious at United. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, the leaks at Man United are not who everybody thinks they are as well. They're not who everybody thinks they are. Big up everybody in the chat. Big up, great analysis on both channels. Appreciate that as well. I believe we will see a very attacking game with Tottenham. They play a little crazy, but we have a better defence right now, I believe. Yeah, we have a better defence. Tottenham have better midfield in terms of legs. Attack, maybe they score more goals than us, Tottenham, so they probably do have a better attack. We've not scored many goals this season, but we've looked much better in attack under Amad as well. I can't see it being Amad. He's generally sound as a person. I mean, we all know it's not Amad, but there was rumours saying it was Amad. It's not gone out, that's been proven. But people always think the leaks has got to be this player because he's unhappy, and it's like, no, the leaks can be a member of staff. The leaks, a lot of the time, the leaks don't come from the players. I was speaking to journalists about how they get information, and journalists say when they know a Man United player isn't happy, they poke and prod around the friends and family of that Man United player to see if they can get any information to write a leak about the club or how the player might feel about the manager. So, when there was reports that certain players felt that Rangnick did this, or certain players felt that Ollie did this or Ten Hag did this, it came from the media poking and prodding around family members of certain Man United players that were unhappy. It never comes from the player's mouth itself. Interestingly, is what I've heard. I mean, every now and then it will come from the player's mouth itself, but not all the time. But let's talk about the leaks. Because luckily the Man United Tottenham team hasn't been leaked yet, but Ruben Amorim was asked about the leaks, and this is what he said. He said nothing. He was asked about the leaks and what he's going to do with the team leaders leaks. He said nothing, and nowadays all the coaches know about things because I explain a lot of things about the team, the way we play, and I want to play the position, etc. But I say that because I understand that the coaches have information just from seeing one time Manchester United play. So I'm not worried or really worried about that. And I also cannot control that. So I'll do the same. I prepare the same for the games because for me, it's most important for my players to go to the game with a clear idea of what and how we're going to do it rather than try and hide it to protect the leak of the starting 11. My focus, I'm not worried about that. So Amorim saying he's not changing anything he's doing to try and protect his starting 11. But Amorim lists coaches. He says all the coaches know about things because I explain a lot. That's a big hint as well. Amad isn't accusing certain players of leaking things. There's coaches at United that will be on the outskirts but will know everything. And, it could get leaked out there. It can come through coaches. It can just come through people who work on the ground. And Amorim's been quite clear. He's not going to change what he does up at United because he's worried of someone leaking things. It's just find the leak and make them stop as well. Also speaks to the cultural issues at the club. Most serious clubs don't deal with this the amount we do. 100%. Every club has leaks, but we have a different amount of leaks, which is really bad. There is a report coming out that Leny Yoro is starting, but who knows? That leak could be fake. Tottenham score 4 goals in a game and then 0 next game. To me, attack is overrated based on the inconsistency. Beating Southampton 5-0 is great, but spread the goals to other games. I think with Tottenham, they've just had a lot of injuries. I think Tottenham had a lot of injuries. I think Tottenham, if they had everybody fit, their system scores a lot of goals. They play some really good attacking football, but a lot of they need a bit more quality, from an upgrade on Werner. They definitely need a bit more quality, Tottenham, as well. However you look at it, leaking stories from the dressing room is almost traitor type behaviour, given the damage it could do to anyone caught doing it. Must go, I agree. If Man United find out that one of the leakers is a player and they've been doing it a lot, then that player doesn't matter how important they could be under Ruben Amorim. It could be Ugarte, for example. he would have to go, because that's just disrespecting the team, disrespecting his teammates. And that would say to any future players coming in, or any current players at Man United, you could be really important, but if you leak the team, you're out. And that could stop people leaking the team and information. Alice, any updates on the Mount injury? Apparently it's just a small one and he should be back soon. I feel sorry for Mason Mount because he can't seem to string 3 or 4 games together without getting injured. I do feel really, really bad for Mason Mount. He's really not had much luck with injuries. So, how did Alejandro Garnacho react to being left out of the Man City game? Amran said this. He said it was a really good reaction and he trained really well. He seems a little bit upset with me and that is perfect. I was really happy because I would do the same. He's ready for the game. So Ruben Amorim dropped Garnacho for the Manchester derby, and the next day Garnacho was training very hard and he was a bit upset with him. And you can't blame Garnacho for being upset with Amorim because Garnacho wants to play every minute and every game. And some people might say, oh, he's been, a little kid, upset with the manager for dropping him. But that's what you want. You want that to provoke a reaction. You want that to upset Garnacho because Garnacho's like, crap, I've got to give 110% under this manager. So Garnacho was not happy with Ruben Amorim for dropping him and was peed off about the whole situation. But Ruben Amorim said as a manager, he wants that. He doesn't mind peeing off his players over something small, like not picking them for one game, because it will make them want to work harder and get in the side. So he was saying that he got the reaction he wanted from Alejandro Garnacho, who is now back and ready to feature versus Spurs as well. Who is the leaks, Alice? It could be players, it could be staff, it could be coaches. But I think, a lot of people look to blame players, but I think there's staff and coaches around the club that know who the team is before as well and have probably more reason to put that lineup out for financial gain, because the players don't really need money. So why are they leaking the lineup to random people online? Like, what does it achieve for the players? Whereas staff might think, oh, I can get an extra 200, 300 quid by giving this person the lineup early. You can understand why staff might do it as well. Do you think Xerxes or Amad will play? Potentially, yeah. I think Xerxes maybe, but Xerxes started the game last Thursday. Maybe Xerxes. Well, any news on Naipan? Yes. So, in regards to Naipan to Manchester United, obviously there's a lot of reports coming in from people like Dean Jones that Manchester United are closing in on a deal to sign Naipan from Rosenborg, the young midfielder. Credible sources have come out and said that we're interested in Naipan. We like him. We could still go for him in the January window, but there's nothing concrete. The credible sources, despite what Dean Jones is saying, all the credible sources are saying there's nothing concrete between United and Naipan, but the player dreams of United and United like the player, but United might be more intrigued to spend funds now on ready-made players. Alice, who would you sign to replace Rashford? Rodrigo, Musiala, Kvaratskhelia would be my first choice 3. I know none of them are realistic, but that's who I get about right. Someone said, guys, is the sound okay? Someone's complaining about the sound. I know that I'm in one of those booths, so the sound's going to be weird, like, depending on how close or far away I move from the mic, as you can see. But hopefully the sound's all right. We need to beat Bournemouth, being aggressive on players. I agree. Bournemouth's going to be a difficult game. Bournemouth is never an easy game, by the way, people. It's never an easy game. We will talk about the Bournemouth game probably on Saturday. I'll do a live show Saturday talking about the Bournemouth game, but we're going to talk about the Tottenham game. So he said that Garnacho was upset with him, but that's a good thing, and I like that. What else has happened before we dive into Rashford, before we dive into other news, before we dive into transfer stories? It was said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has injected a further £79 million into Manchester United, increased his stake in the club, and charged ownership of his involvement to his Ineos company. The 79 million Sir Jim Ratcliffe has invested is not earmarked to go into January war chest for Ruben Amorim. Instead, investment has been earmarked for infrastructure that will be used across the club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is £79 million closer to getting the Glazers out of the club once and for all. Even though it's not going to go into the January transfer window, he's putting more money into invest in Manchester United. And that's what we need. We need investment. So cannot complain with Sir Jim Ratcliffe looking to further invest inside Manchester United. Alice, how do we beat Spurs? As people have said in the chat, we have to be aggressive if we want to beat Spurs. We have to be on it. Where the reason we got battered by Spurs at Old Trafford was off the ball. Spurs outrun us in midfield. They had more legs than us, and we made it easy for them. And then with Bruno being sent off, they got a lot of space and stuff, with the space that Tottenham got. So for me, we've got to be aggressive. We've got to try and compete with Tottenham physically, not give them too much space. I think players like Sarr and his running power could cause us a lot of problems. So I think we can beat Tottenham because they're not at the very best. They have players like Werner in their front three. And obviously the defence is quite gettable. But I do think, Solanke, Kulusevski, Maddison, Starr, they still have some really good players that can cause us a lot of issues. Do you think Rashford will go in January or the summer? I think if an offer came in January of like 50 million plus, I think they'd let him go in January. But I think Marcus Rashford would go in the summer because I don't think there's many people out there that are going to put the funds on Marcus Rashford, especially with his wages in January. I don't think many people can afford that. There's talk of Arsenal, there's talk of Juventus, but you've got to look at the price and everything else involved in that as well. Big up everybody watching, by the way. We are on 99,797 subscribers. So we're 3 subscribers away from 99.8k. So big up to everybody watching and supporting the channel. As always, it means a lot. So in terms of Marcus Rashford, because we are going to speak about Marcus Rashford, and I know what you're thinking, Marcus Rashford, Marcus Rashford, Marcus Rashford. Every single live stream, every single video for the last few days has had Marcus Rashford in, and it's boring, it's annoying. I know what you mean. I'm bored of it as well, but that is what is being spoken about every day is Rashford, his future, Barcelona this, Barcelona that. I tried to save this to a later on part in the live stream, but it is all about Rashford at the moment. Now, it is said that Barcelona are thinking of swapping one of Ronald Ario, or Frankie de Jong in a swap deal for cash plus Marcus Rashford. Would you take that or not? I like de Jong, I like Ario, but I don't know if I would. It depends on the wages, it depends on how keen the player was to come. It depends, I don't know. But a swap deal, let me know what you think. I still would like Rashford to turn it around and it to work out at United, but I don't think it will. I like Frankie de Jong, but I feel like if Eric Ten Hag's not here, we've got Frankie de Jong too late. And obviously I like Ario as well. Mudryk Rashford swap. Why would we do that? Rashford's miles clear of Mudryk. Tottenham is a very attacking side. Defence is poor. Yeah, I agree. I think with Tottenham, we need to play Tottenham on the front foot. If we do what Ten Hag did and park the bus against Tottenham, they'll roll all over us. We'll give them too much possession. They will create chances. They beat us. We need to come at Tottenham. We need to be aggressive and we need to test the defence if we want to beat them as well. Be everybody watching. Let me just take a quick sip of water. We got to win Jules versus Tottenham. We do. The Tottenham game's going to be difficult because Tottenham are warriors in the midfield. They win the duels. They've got some good players, but they also have a lot of injuries. So I think because of the injuries Tottenham have got and how they are in cup competitions, I fancy United to win, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover versus Tottenham. I think they could win. I think they could give us a very difficult game tonight, if I'm going to be honest as well. But let's dive into some more news. So what has Ruben Amorim actually had to say on the Marcus Rashford situation interview? He said it's a hard situation to comment on because if I give a lot of importance to it, then it will have to be the big headlines in the paper. And if I say it's not a problem, then my standards are getting low. So I'll deal with that and I understand that, which is fair. He said, my focus is to not take the attention away from the game and the team and what we did last week. What I'm saying is the team is more important than the individual. We will assess the right time, that's all. So he's saying he's focused on the team and what the team needs rather than just one individual's needs, which is absolutely fair. And he'll make an assessment further down the line whether he wants to keep Rashford or not. He said on the Rashford situation, it's hard to explain to you guys what I'm going to do. I'm a little bit emotional, so in the moment I'll decide what to do, which was interesting. He's obviously not particularly happy with that decision from Rashford, and it could be disciplinary action. That's why he could be dropped again, or it could be because he was ill. And he said on the media, on Marcus Rashford interview, he said, if this was me, probably I would speak to the manager, but guys, let's focus on Tottenham. I felt sorry for Ruben Amorim because he was getting about 101. He was getting about 101 questions on Rashford. And I think Ruben Amorim just wanted to talk about the Tottenham game. And he was just getting 101 questions. Someone said Ario is pronounced Aroo. Aroo, as in row, as in how. Aroo. Am I saying his name right? Aroo. But no, I did feel sorry a little bit for Ruben Amorim because he basically got 100 questions on Marcus Rashford and he just wants to talk about the game, the tactics, what to expect going into the Tottenham game rather than Marcus Rashford for an hour as well. The key today is man running from deep since they play a high line. If they get that right, they're in trouble. Yeah, I think Tottenham are gettable. I think Tottenham have legs in midfield. I think Tottenham and everybody's fit's a good side. They beat us 3-0. But I think if Ruben Amorim sets us up right tactically, I think Tottenham are absolutely gettable as well. I do. Sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. You could tell a few times Amorim almost slipped about how he really felt on the situation. He knows better. I think Amorim is frustrated with Rashford, and I think Amorim isn't happy about the situation with Rashford. And he was asked about it a lot, that it felt like he was going to slip. But I'm glad that he did manage to stay professional. He doesn't want a Jadon Sancho-esque incident to happen as well. Should Amram keep experimenting? I think, we sort of have an idea what his strongest squad is, but he should change it up here and there. I'd like to see Antony at left wing back and Delo on the bench, if I'm going to be honest. It was also said from Marcus Rashford, if what we're doing is trying to demonstrate to the players the rest, Amram said this to Marcus Rashford. He said, if what we're trying to do is demonstrate to the players the rest, we will have time to adjust, and my focus is on the game and get the best out of Rashford. So he said what he's going to do in regards to Rashford is focus on the game, improve the players, and hopefully focus on getting the best out of Rashford. And Ruben Amorim said on Rashford and Maguire and all the players that his focus is just to set the standards and see if his players can do it, and that's the part he can't answer. So Ruben Amorim's just saying he's going to bring standards into training, and he's going to assess which players can do it and which players can't. And the players that can't, I think, will be out of United sooner rather than later. When Ruben Amorim was asked about Man United's position on Rashford, he said nothing's changed. We believe in Rashford and Marcus as a player of Manchester United, so there's no change. Now, I think Ruben Amorim has come across in that interview very well. I think he's probably frustrated with Marcus Rashford, but he came across in that interview well, didn't pile on any hate to his player, and I have to say I thought it was a good interview from Ruben Amorim. He was also asked about other players as well. He was asked about Agate, and he said, I know him really well. He's a good player, so he needs to continue and be that consistent. Agate has been really, really impressive under Ruben Amorim, which is good to see. And then he was also asked about the Man City win, and he said the way we play was also good, but we have a lot to improve. We need to play in the future so much better, but we have time to do that. He's saying, yep, I won the Manchester Derby, but it wasn't good enough. I need to improve, and I like that. He's not just settling at he won the Manchester Derby. He's saying, we won it, but it's not good enough. We need to do better. We need to win more. So, guys, that was your sort of 25, 30-minute roundup of all the latest Manchester United news. Someone said, can you give the Rashford saga a break? It's boring. Well, that's why I saved the Rashford saga to the end, because it is still in the news, so we still got to talk about it. But it is getting boring that I'm saving the Rashford saga to the end. Agate's looked very good. He has looked very good. Some people don't like him, but he's looked very good as well. Someone said Agate needs to start for me and keep their midfield quite partner with Casemiro. Potentially, I think Agate and Maino is my ideal pivot, but Agate and Casemiro have worked well. But listen, people, I'm going to wrap up the live show here because I'm absolutely knackered. I will be back tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye.